Hi, good morning to all of you. For last 2 days, people have been asking, especially from the trade circle and some associations and some fellow colleagues, okay, what is the syndrome of to be return or statement, whatever you call, which is being introduced effective next month. Since I do not file returns, I have never earlier seen the returns, so I saw the returns and spoke to my colleagues Rakesh Garg, Sandeep Garg, Rashmi Jan at length, and I came to know what is the purpose of 2B. I was told there is an earlier return called 2A, which is auto-formed, and 2B will also be auto-populated. Now, when I examine the contents of especially the 2B return, notwithstanding its legal significance for the purpose of Rule 36(4), the GST rules, I find the statement, the contents of the statement really serious. Through this statement 2B, the lawmakers, the legislature is trying to control the complete interplay of section 16, 17, 9(3), 9(4) and your output tax, input tax liabilities. So they need not even examine your books of accounts. Insofar as you have recorded the purchases or your output supply in the books of accounts, that is all so-called what we call number one sales and purchase, then they need not bother about your books of accounts. Everything is available to them. Now, the scheme of the GST when it was formed did suggest these kind of auto statements, especially section 42, 43, read the relevant rules. Rules are not very important here. Now, what happens? In 2A, you had some circulars, okay, you could take input tax credit based on 2A till the time you pay the tax and file the return. 2A was, as my friends call it, a dynamic statement. Okay, it could keep changing on daily basis since the date was not frozen. Whereas in case of 2B, I am told the date is frozen till 11th of every month, 11 p.m. So what does it legally mean to the taxpayers? If it is enforced in the sense in which people are saying it will be enforced or it should be enforced, this means whatever documents, that is the output supply bills, have been uploaded by the suppliers from whom you purchase the goods or services, etc., only to that extent you shall be able to claim input tax credit for the purpose of paying net output tax as per law. So that is, if during the month of August or during month of September, for example, you made total purchases worth 10 crores from all over the country, and supposing a tax rate is 18%, that is, as per your books of accounts, the input tax credit will be 1.8 crores. However, if till 11th of October, your suppliers uploaded their output tax supplies only for 5 crores, that is only 5 crores, you will be entitled to a clean input tax credit as per section 16, subsection 2, only for 90 lakh rupees. And for the balance, as per Rule 36(4), 10% of eligible credit, that is, you will get at best 5 crore 50 lakh. Now, this may sound ridiculous. It is really, it is shocking. But friends, that is the law in 16 subsection 2. Till the supplier actually had paid the tax, you are not supposed to claim input tax credit. So therefore, by this 2B statement itself, the legislature have controlled the eligibility of your input tax credit. Now supposing, as a lawyer, Sushil Verma tells you, don't bother, this is my right in section 16 to claim input tax credit, this is my vested right. How can 2B control my credit? Well, since you were made aware that your supplier has not paid the tax, he has not uploaded your tax invoices on his return, therefore he has not acknowledged his liability to pay tax on output supplies, there's a trouble. It is kind of a deemed statutory notice to you in the form of 2B. Okay, look, gentlemen, you have a problem. You have a problem. Do not claim input tax credit till the output supplier's bills are uploaded in 2B. Now, what is the consequence of it? That is, if you do not chase your suppliers and do not ensure that they put up their invoices well before 11th in 2B, which you download in PDF or Excel form, whichever way you feel convenient, you will have to shell out cash from your pocket to discharge your output tax liability. So is the case with you. When you make output supplies, and if you do not upload all the invoices well before 11th, latest by 9th or 10th, then your recipient, the person who buy from you, they will also face the same music. So this will be a vicious circle which can go on happening. Now there is one more issue. Supposing you were dealing with people whose returns are quarterly, that is, I believe the people who have a gross turnover of 1.5 crore or less, they can file monthly return, but they can file quarterly returns, and they get 4 months to file the return, that is 30 days after the end of quarter. So till they file the return, if you happen to have dealt with them, then there's a trouble again, because you will not be able to claim input tax credit till they upload in their return your invoices and acknowledge the liability on your invoices. Now, 3 more legal issues happen. They will also tell you the GTA bills or lawyers' bills, etc., who must have billed to you, and you have to pay reverse charge. So, notwithstanding whether you had received the invoices or not, you had accounted for the invoices or not, once the supplier says or GTA says that certain services have been provided to you, which are subject to reverse charge under section 9(3) or 5(3), CGST, IGST, will it lie in your mouth that you are not liable to pay tax? So they have controlled that you better pay tax or face the consequences. Now similarly, if you have imported goods, it will tell you how much imports have been accounted for through customs in your 3B return. So if there is a crash in customs computer, or somehow some imports are not uploaded and they do not reflect in 2B, again you will have problems. There are bound to be problems. The only imports that perhaps will not get reflected are imports of services which are not through customs, or import of goods which are through courier, which are of course routed through postal customs. Now what happens? So your entire input tax chain has been controlled. So if you procure goods or services 10 crore, I'm repeating the example, and if the supplier of those goods and services do not upload the records on to your 2B return, and if Rule 36(4), which is linked with GSTN1, and therefore GSTN1 is nothing but 2B as such for you, then you have a problem. So whatever is not uploaded, that ITC will not be given to you except to the extent of 10% of what you are eligible. That is where these invoices have been confirmed. So get ready to shell out cash outgo unless you force your supplier, that is, start chasing your suppliers from first onwards. Buddy, load my invoices or I will not make payments. Hold back the tax payment. Because if you have to pay interest, if you have to shell out the cash, and you are working on borrowed money, you have to pay interest, debit the supplier. So have a contract with the supplier in writing, send him an email. Email is a document within the definition of section 2, which define document. E-documents are legally valid. Tell him, buddy, this is the law. If your invoices are not uploaded and they do not get reflected in 2B by 11th of every month at 11 p.m., whatever consequences happen to me by way of interest to the bank or any penalty if I have to pay, I will debit your account automatically. So from the next payment I have to pay you, I will deduct your money. Please do have this contract. This is perfectly legal. There is nothing illegal because the supplier must upload. It is his responsibility to pay tax. So is the case with you. When you are making outward supplies, ensure all outputs bills you have raised in a particular month, get ready to upload by 5th or 6th every month so that your recipients do not face problem in claiming input tax credit. This will be good business. Now, this is insofar as the implications of 2B I understand. I think this is what it is. Some people say they need to be notified, but I don't think a notification is required. It's only a statement that assists you in filing the return. They are not controlling anything. Your input tax credit is still controlled by 16.1, 16.2. Now, whatever appears in 2B is not available as input tax credit. You still have to work out manually whether any input tax credit is blocked in 17.5 or whether you had procured some goods or services which are not covered in 16.1, that is in the course of business or in furtherance of business. That still has to be taken out and ITC not claimed. That remains notwithstanding this 2B return. Now I am also told if supplier changes the invoices wise details will be reflected in 2B. If your supplier issued initial invoice of 1 lakh rupees at 18%, then you claim 18,000 rupees input tax credit based on original invoice. Now if he changes the invoice to 80,000 for whatever reason, either reason discussed with you or on his own or for short supplies or some discounts, whatever he has. Now those amended invoice shall also appear. So what does it mean? Will you amend your invoices for which you have taken the input tax credit, or you will have to reverse the input tax credit? So that's another question you have to keep in mind. Or supposing supplier shows having issued some credit notes to you. So once he has issued credit notes, and if he had reduced his output tax liability too, then under section 34, read with relevant rule, you may also have to reverse the input tax credit to that extent, so that the governments remain revenue neutral. Now supposing you had not got copies of the credit notes, well, till you have document, you are not supposed to reverse. And it is not my advice. Without document, to start adjusting your books of accounts. You wait. It is a supplier's headache to ensure he sends you a copy of credit note well before 11th, so that you can reverse your input tax credit in the immediate return. So documents must come to you. Similarly, if it is amended invoices, those amended invoices must reach you in time. Unless you receive these documents physically, do not act upon on 2B at all. This is his headache. He should have taken care if he is expecting his recipients to make adjustments on account of credit notes or amendment in invoices. He should have ensured you get original physical copies. Email copies or photocopies are not documents to claim or adjust the credits. It is supplier's headache. He should have ensured. It is his responsibility under section 34 to issue debit note or credit notes. Now friend, this is insofar as the matter of 2B interpretation in terms of accounts adjustment is concerned. My question is much bigger. Once law had prescribed the input tax credit eligibility and the eligibility criteria in section 16, read with 17 basically, I don't understand why the hell should they do all this? For what? They have the huge enforcement machinery. They can always catch you. But since in GST will also go faceless, in next 3-4 months I'm very sure GST will be totally faceless. So they are trying to bring in auto systems which are legal, for which there are provisions to ensure you claim what is legally available to you. You do not claim what is not legally available to you. So now supposing notwithstanding what is available in 2B or not available to 2B, you still claim. A lawyer like me tells you, we will see it. You claim this is your eligibility. Well, in that case, you shall be making a wrongful claim, and that can be recovered under 73-74. And if you are claiming without documents, then section 132-69 will also be attracted, the penal provisions. So friends, why I made this video is not that I know much about returns, because I've never filed a return in my entire career of more than 30 years. I've never filed. But I did discuss with the people who know this job very well, who teach people, Rakesh Garg, Sandeep Garg, his brother, Rashmi Jain, who give lectures on this particular form of law. I had a long discussion with them, a very long discussion. So I thought a legal video should be made so that my colleagues, chartered accountants, advocates, STPs, and the traders, they should be careful that if 2B is in place officially, I don't think it needs to be notified. It's my opinion. It doesn't need to be notified for anything, because this is not something that gives you a claim. It gives you an information which is within the scope of section 16. That is, 16.2 says, till the supplier pays the tax, till he files his return, you cannot claim input tax credit. One more, friends, you must file return you must file your valid return under section 39. Now, I have some cases which says that till return was filed, input tax credit cannot be claimed, and the entire ITC has been disallowed. Well, friends, with this, I close. It is around 17 minutes. Good luck to you. Thank you very much. God bless you. Bye-bye.